witnessed some kind of alien visitation, whether it's at the time of the Sumerians or, up to, the latest day. I don't know. But I do believe there's something out there. So, I could see two crashes. I'm just wondering where you got that. The retired general in charge to debunk UFOs to the public came out in an interview. Really? Now that can be looked up. You see, that can be checked. And that's the kind of information you need for this kind of stuff, Yes, Daniel, I hope you didn't forget this time. Go ahead.
Yeah, concerning UFOs, I have seen many UFOs in the past 3 to 4 months, a lot of them. Now here's the thing, 90% of Americans believe in UFOs, or have seen one, or believe that we're being visited by alien type of beings. The problem is, the United States government official position is that anyone who talks about UFOs is ridiculed, right? Crazy. So, isn't that an ironic situation? Like, our own government is treating the other 90% like they're stupid.
I get your point, Daniel, but I don't think that we're talking quite the same percentage numbers that you are saying. I think the percentages are a little different. Percentages there, yeah, but not quite that high. But that's just my opinion. Mercedes, once she uses Andy's bandage, might want to say a little more about what's on her mind. And I'd rather have her say what's on her mind before I launch into the alien room that was on How Talk 3-4 years ago, and from the woman who was selling her book with the pictures of all the aliens that she drew, and because I love that room. I have to tell you, I love that room. I thought that room was absolutely, it was fundamental power. I remember going in that room, and there was a woman there who said she had visited with the aliens, and they spoke to her telepathically, and she saw them, and she drew these stick figures of what they looked like, and she said that, she was putting in her book, "Hello, Desert Blossom, welcome to the room," and she was putting in her book and selling it, of course, and she and her husband were the two humans that had been designated as the people for the aliens to contact, and they have formed I don't want to say federation, because now you're talking Star Trek, but they had formed some kind of a confederation, and there were 100, I remember they told me there was like 131 members in the Confederation. I remember asking them, how do you know it was 131? I mean, where did you get 131 from? And she said, well, that's what they told me. I said, oh, okay. That's what they told me. So that's the gospel. Okay. And every time I went in the room, they would talk more and more about when these aliens were going to make themselves known. And the first thing that I heard was that they were going to make themselves known in Washington, D.C. It was going to be a gala event, but then the United States government at the time, and I believe Bush was the president, demanded they give them military secrets, or they wouldn't let them come out in Washington. And they said that they would give agricultural and they would give health kind of information, but they wouldn't give military secrets to the American government. So the American government passed, and then they went to Russia, and it was the same thing. The Russians said that they basically, give me guns and show me the military secrets, and we'll let you come out in Russia, in Moscow. And And they said, no, we won't do that. And they went to several different countries around the world. They finally settled on Japan. Because Japan said, we don't really want the military secrets. We just want better agricultural information, health information, and so on. And so the aliens said they were going to come out. And they were going to be there in Japan. It was going to be in the summertime. And they were going to make a grand announcement. And however, the woman could not tell me exactly when that was going to be. She said, well, you know, the best I can tell you is that they said soon. But she could never define soon. And I go into that room as often as I could. And I would, you know, I would ask them, so, I haven't seen anything from Japan about your alien friend, the Confederation. You know, have they given you a date yet? Have they told you anything about, you know, when to expect them? Because I want to see that. I'm really looking forward to hearing about all that. And she kept saying to me, no, we don't have an exact date. They never give us exact dates. And I went to her website and I saw some of the stick figures of the aliens that she drew. And I wasn't going to pay the $25 or $30 for the book, but they had like some sample stuff out of some of the chapters, so I read that. And then I said, okay, well, this is kind of fun. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, you know, I read a book, I think it was called First Contact. I don't remember the author's name, but it was made like in 1998, right? My friend Neil gave it to me to read, and apparently it was by a reporter for the LA Times, and he said he was being contacted by aliens, and that very, very shortly, you know, by the turn of the century, the millennium, that the aliens would come forth publicly and everything, right? Well, now it's a decade later, and they still have not showed up. And most recently, there was a Palladian article that I posted on my website. It was by an anonymous poster, saying that aliens would definitely land August 4th, 2012, in a field at the Olympics in London. And they would show off and do all sorts of weird things and meet with world leaders. Guess what? Never happened. So, who can we trust here? Like, they keep saying they're going to come and do this and that, and they're not doing anything. It's like they're evading or something. I don't know.
Welcome to the room, Desert Blossom. As you can see, we're having a fascinating discussion all about the truth of alien visitations to various countries and how we're waiting for them any day now. Any day. And, well, the only reason I bring this up is because, well, that's very possible, Anne. The reason I bring this up is because there was a room. It was in the metaphysical, spiritual section, and it was all about these aliens that were in this confederation of 131 different alien races, all of which visited the Earth, all of which were controlled by the alien authorities, so that they didn't, you know, run amok on planet Earth. And best of all, this is from Mercedes, you know, they were helpful, benign, friendly. There was one of them that was not a part of the Confederation, Mercedes, just to let you know, that did do some negative things, but that race was banned from coming back to Earth, and they kicked them out. So you should rest safely knowing that that one alien race of all these alien races that supposedly was the bad guys, they are no longer troubling us because the Confederation of 131 different alien races banned them and got rid of them off the planet. So Mercedes, you can sleep safely. Just in case, you know, you had problems with this whole situation. And, you know, and there would be 20, 30 people in that room. I'm not talking about a room with 3 people. I mean, there was the wife of the husband-wife who saw them and who wrote the book. There was her best friend. There was his sister. I don't, you know, there was like the advent. There was like 4 advents, and 3 of them were all part of this this montage. And you know, okay, fine. I just found it fascinating that there was always 20, 30 people in this room, and they were all seriously talking about the Confederation, members of the Confederation. They even knew where some of them were from. I mean, I don't remember exactly where, but she even had written down where some of these alien races came from. So I guess you could go out with a telescope or binoculars and look into the sky and look up those star systems and constellations and you know, maybe see their spaceships take off. I don't know. But I never saw one myself. And I do have a pair of binoculars somewhere, and I used to have a telescope, but I never saw it myself. So, I was fascinated by the fact that people packed in that room every single night. And they all talked about the exact same thing. That's why I remember 131 races. And I remember, you know, the Confederation, and, you know, they came from these particular star systems, and they were going to come out in Japan. I mean, you know, I remember all the details, because they were talking about it every single night. Dr. Tenyo, welcome to the room. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, you know, I'm apparently I've made contact with 2 people, Hireen and I Am Dragon, on the internet just recently in the past like few months. Now Hireen has told me, like she says she's conscious that she's multidimensionally incarnating on a UFO, which sounds of course nutcase stuff, right? It sounds like delusional or something. But the thing is, she said she saw me. She knows what I look like. She saw me aboard one of these spaceships, healing people and teaching people about fear and overcoming fear. But the thing is, I'm not conscious of that incarnation, but I'm somehow multidimensionally aboard a UFO doing things, or maybe many UFOs. Now, apparently I'm of the Omarian race, right? That's what it's called, the Omarians. And I've been seeing a lot of UFOs. Half of them are disguised as high-flying aircraft. The thing is, I live in Chico, California, which is not on the path of any major airline flight, but they keep appearing though, right? Whenever I'm outside and the clouds form like in a heavenly formation, a UFO suddenly appears crisscrossing in the clouds, right? So this has been going on now for about 4 months.
Very interesting. Even Mercedes is interested. You can see that. So you're an Omarian. I guess that's Omerian, Omarian, something like that. Because I'm just trying to piece it together myself. I'm very fascinated by all this. As I said to you, Carl Sagan said in Cosmos, and then later in Pale Blue Dot. I don't remember what this is. There were 2 books, one after Cosmos, and he said, I think you must agree that there are alien races throughout the universe, but given the size of the universe and the lack of ability to traverse the distances in a rapid fashion, it makes it somewhat difficult to believe that there was any contact with us in our, kind of our out of the way place on the third spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy. So he said, you know, I'm prepared to accept that there are alien races out there, but that any of them have come here and dealt with us. He said, he did a whole mathematical thing in Cosmos, where he did, you know, a whole giant mathematical thing, which he said was his proof that it would be almost impossible to have had a visitation from the alien race on Earth. I mean, they have Mars or what he said, you know, but not on Earth. And I kind of agree with him. I think it's possible, however, that we were visited, but I don't see a way of proving it. I do think there are alien races out in the universe. That would just be logical. Even Mr. Spock would agree with that. Wouldn't you say so, Mercedes? I think even Mr. Spock would agree with that. Although I have to admit, I was kind of chagrined, seriously chagrined, when Leonard Nimoy came out with his first book called I Am Not Spock, because that really let me down. You know, that made me feel that someone was not taking all of this as seriously as they should. But that's just me. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. Alien, you know, like I said before, 90% of Americans have had or believe in. I think you said that the 90% figure is too high. That's just a number that I came up with, right? It was a poll somewhere. 90% believe in UFOs, but the official government position is to deny it. Now, did you see, by the way, the UFO sighting over the Olympics fireworks? It was recorded by many people, and what do you think of that? The official position is that it was a helicopter or a blimp, but it sure didn't look like a blimp to me. Oh, and the other thing about Carl Sagan, see, a lot of these scientists are atheists, right? Including Gene Roddenberry, who made the Star Trek. Technically, he was atheist, so, but he still had like the idea of Q, right? The omnipotent character in Star Trek there. Now, yeah. So the yeah. Anyways, go ahead. Oh no, I forgot what I was going to say. Carl Sagan. Now the thing is, he's doing what most humans do. They think that we're so technologically advanced and that we know everything now, right? Oh, science has all the answers. It's impossible at this point in time to traverse great distances, but they're thinking only our level of development. If we've progressed this far just in the past 100 years, can you imagine in the next 1,000 years or 100,000 years or 1,000,000 years? We have to get beyond our little arrogance here and assume that everyone's at the same technological development as us humans. We like to think we're smart, but the aliens out there, they know a lot more about space travel, you know, shielding, weapons, and all that kind of stuff. They know a lot more than us humans do, and that's probably why they can't show up just in obvious fashion yet, at least. Is because we're not prepared for it. We think we're so arrogant that we think we're the only ones in the universe. Out of 100 billion galaxies, 100 billion, each galaxy possessing, say, for instance, 100 billion stars. The odds of us being the only humans on, you know, in the entire universe, or you know, only intelligent life, that's a very, very egotistical and arrogant statement, you know, for people to make, but they do that, right? They say, no, we're all alone here, and that's the official scientific perspective.
Science is an ever-changing thing. So, I don't know that we can use science as our rationale for good, bad, or indifferent. until such time as something happens that allows us to literally have something tangible in our hands, it's very difficult to make the argument that what can't be discerned scientifically, as we know science today, is true. It's difficult, to do that. Mercedes could do that, but I can't do that.
Yeah, UFOs, they're in the realm of things like Bigfoot, right? Sasquatch. Apparently Sasquatch are, it's a fringe topic, and, like not many people have seen them, and those that have form a little group, oh yeah, we're the Bigfoot seers, and I don't know, notice when you speak of UFOs, most people, they roll their eyes, right? And that's because the disinformation campaign by the government has been so successful. If you dare mention, oh yeah, I was abducted by aliens, they'll think, this guy's crazy, right? He's crazy.
Well, if you said that you heard aliens, that alone would make people think that you are crazy. If you said you heard spirit, that would make people think that you were crazy. If you said that you were spirit, that would make people think that you're crazy. So, it's an ascending order, so to speak, of, oh, we lost Annie. Annie, welcome back. Welcome back. So, you have to sort of draw a line somewhere, Daniel, if you think about it. The life on hold, awaiting some ulterior force, completely to destroy. So in other words, Mercedes, you're saying that the aliens of this 131-member confederacy were not destructive. Now, I'd like to know, what is your proof of that? How can you prove that this alien confederation are all good guys? I mean, seriously, you're making a statement, you don't believe in evil alien theory. So how do you know that the aliens are good? That's very much like that old, when did you stop eating your wife? Anyway, never mind. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mercedes. I'll pass.
Well, I'm not certain about that, Arcan, but the one thing I will say is that in all of the supposed alien abductions, people were treated very brutally. And we have enough brutality in this world already, so why would I want to know, befriend, or otherwise be acquainted with somebody that has an anal probe? Doesn't make sense to me. And so, because of virtue of living in Roswell, New Mexico, I have an agreement with the supposed aliens. I don't believe in them, and they don't, abduct me. It's very simple. But my point is that if you take a well-adjusted person who is content with their life, they're not forever looking outside of themselves for something that is going to dissolve life as we know it. But there are those people of the same mindset that are very disillusioned with life, religion, etc., that are consciously and purposely looking for something to destroy everything because they're unhappy. But I'm not. So I don't ever have to worry about seeing that in my universe.
Well, Mercedes, all I can say to you is it's obvious that you're under the delusion that logic and intelligence, that education and such things have value. And, you know, the aliens may not agree with it. You don't know. You don't know. Welcome back, Annie, and welcome back, Duxter. You know, I think that your contention that that we have enough evil, destructive things on Earth is a good reason to not believe that they're out there in outer space. My question to you would be, seriously speaking, how do you know that we define evil the way the aliens do? The aliens may define evil completely differently. And if there are these aliens, why should they not be exactly like us? I mean, when you think about it, we are the ultimate creation, I think. I'm sure that there are religious icons that would agree with me. And if that's the case, why would the aliens not be like us? I mean, you know, seriously. When you think about it, we are the ultimate expression of evolution throughout the universe. Therefore, why would aliens not follow our pattern? I mean, it makes perfect sense to me that they would. Which is why I used to wonder about this room with 131 races that were all benign, like benign tumors, and they were perfectly fine. And there was only one that had been kicked out that was actually negative. Why should that be, since that simply wouldn't follow the Earth model? I mean, would anyone like to comment on this? I used to constantly ask them, you know, how do they know there's 131, and how do they know that they're all benevolent? How do they not know that there are some of them somewhere in their heart of hearts, or whatever organs they use to pump blood, or whatever they use for blood? How do they know that, you know, that they're all positive? And they could never tell me. They could never tell me. I think that, well, walks, how could they not do as humans do? We are the ultimate expression of truth, justice, and the Earth way. And isn't that the quintessential? Yes, Daniel, go ahead.
Well, let's assume for a moment that that little 1 out of 131 is evil, right? Is somehow a bad apple. That's all it is a bad apple of a generally benign group, right? However, okay, most of them are peaceful. They don't want to harm anyone. They don't abduct anyone. They have order and righteousness and everything. But, what is the portrayal, though, however, in the mainstream media concerning aliens? It's 90%, well, I don't know what the percentage is, but a good number of movies, like Independence Day, they portray the aliens as a threat. Something like evil aliens out to destroy us. We got to destroy them before they destroy us. But, yeah, maybe there are some bad aliens, but is that representative of the whole group?
Well, it was 131 in the Confederation, and there had been an earlier one, which is not a part of the 131, that had been what we know of as the gray-skinned, giant-eye, 4-foot tall, elongated, kind of oblong-shaped heads. That particular alien race is the one that they had banned from coming back here, because they said that they were doing all the alien vivisection and other kinds of medical testing and so on, and they got rid of them. So the 131 are supposedly the good guys, the good beings, whatever. Well, based on the drawings that I saw on the website where she was selling her book, many of them looked like elongated head, large, wide-eyed, gray-skinned, 4-foot-tall aliens. In fact, there were many that looked like that, or very similar to that. But the quintessential basis for that was the alien race that came here and did all the human experimentation. But they were kicked out. They were banned. So we're all safe. And you say that you're Omaria. Where is Omaria? And do you know of other Omarians that are on Earth? Because I'd like to find out more about this. Do you know other Omarians that are on Alpha? You have to Google. Ah, I see. So they would reveal themselves through the magic of Google. Are you taking notes on this, Mercedes? I'm not taking any notes. I mean, what other alien races do you know of, Daniel? Seriously. Not just the Omarians, but there can't just be Earth and Omarian, or whatever the name of the planet is. There's got to be more. Really.
Yeah, see, I'm not an expert. That's the thing. I'm sort of like new to the whole thing, because to this whole alien concept and ideas and issues, because it was just yesterday that I Am Dragon said he picked up from the source of spirit that I was an Omarian, and that these Omarian ships that I keep seeing above Chico, California are somehow associated with me. Okay, but the thing is, like, I don't consciously know anything about the Omarians. Like, this body sitting here in front of this computer has not heard of not even heard of a Marian until yesterday. I'm still learning. I have a lot to go. Like, I would rather get my information directly from God, but if I have to use Google, I'll use it. But, I guess I could research something about it.
See, now we're getting somewhere. First of all, you're referencing that well-known psychic I Am Dragon. I saw him in Abigail's room, moderating the room while we were having classes on empathy and being changed. So I never knew I Am Dragon. Oh, Mercedes, no. Oh well. I guess a little Mercedes is better than none of them. I was hoping that you would weigh in on all of this, so that we could get the benefit of your experiences with aliens and so on. Rooster, welcome to the room. Welcome to the room, Rooster. So the question that I have for you, Dan, is very simple. What do these ships look like that you say you've seen, and that you found out from I Am Dragon come from Omarian? What do these ships look like? I mean, are we talking, Starship Enterprise? Are we talking about, something from, say, Babylon 5? Are we talking about Battlestar Galactica? Not the new one, but the old one. I don't believe in the new one, but I would believe in the old one. What are we looking at? When we're looking at these ships, what are we seeing? I mean, I know we can't tell anything about the speed they can travel or whatever, but what do they look like?
Well, I've never seen one right up close this body here. From my knowledge of remembrance, I have no idea what they look like up close, but I can describe to you what they look like in the sky. The most profound one was a metallic object about 3 to 5 times larger than an airplane, moving very slowly directly overhead. It was like a nickel colored or copper colored, not copper, nickel or like aluminum, kind of appearance to it. That's the only one, but I've seen many others. They disguise themselves as high-flying aircraft. They fly right up above there, and they're traveling really, really slowly. They're leaving a contrail, but they're traveling like far slower than an airplane should travel.
So you're saying round and metallic, and 3 to 4 times the size of an airplane. Good night, Dexter. So, 3 to 4 times the size of an airplane. What's Jose Cuervo? Oh, tequila! So you're saying with the appropriate medicinal dosage of the tequila medication, you could be almost constrained to agree. Okay. Right. Now, these ships that are 3 to 4 times the size of an airplane, were they cylindrical in shape? Were they oblong? Were they circular? Did they have a sense of depth to them when you saw them? Or was it more kind of one-dimensional, circular? Did you see a raised section in the center or on the bottom? Kind of like a pedestal kind of look. No, not really. And did you see any windows? You wouldn't see doorways, but perhaps window panes, circular or square, against the surface, not too far away. And when you saw them, how many of them were there at the time? Did you see like 2 or 3 in formation? Did you see one? Up to 3 or 4. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yes, Dan, okay.
Yeah, I remember one night in particular, I was in a swimming pool, and while the sun was setting, the clouds formed into heavenly formations, and I witnessed 3 or 4 of these type of craft which resemble airplanes, but they're not airplanes. Again, I have to emphasize that they're not airplanes. They're traveling way too slow to be airplanes, and they're too high up. You know how you look at a high-flying aircraft and you can't see the size of it? That's how small it is. That's what these ships, most of them, look like, right? They just look like aircraft, but they're traveling too slow, and they appear at certain times over a city where there's no direct air traffic supposed to be. And I saw 4 of them traveling the sky within a 5-minute period. They're all one after another, right? So, and they appear when the clouds are forming into wispy heavenly formations. That's when they usually appear amongst the backdrop of the clouds.
Did you get all that down, Mercedes? I hope so. Wondering how many aliens would be in one of these ships. A typical fighter jet or something would have 1 thought that if there are aliens out there, and any of them have visited the Earth, they would look like the aliens in Sigourney Weaver's movies with the name Alien. And the only reason I say that is because in a discussion of this type with some students a long time ago, one of them made a comment, "Hello, cryptid witch, welcome to the room." And she said, by definition, an alien, or something that is alien, again, by definition, is something we can't understand. We could not create it in our minds. That's why it's called alien. And so I always thought, in the beginning, the alien movies with Sigourney Weaver, maybe that was the way aliens look. Of course, now, after 4 of those movies, and however many spin-offs, I think we're all becoming kind of ignored, you know. It's like, oh, look at this guy's chest. Oh, it's bulging. Oh, there's this black thing. Okay, yeah, we've seen that before. So I've often wondered if that was more along the lines of what you'd expect from so-called aliens. I mean, I'm surprised you haven't drawn aliens to escape. Especially on top. And I wouldn't even have it yet as to what the red highlights are. So there are the ones I know about. Super large white wings with blood